It usually starts small, a voice you can't explain, an object that moves on its own, a thought that feels foreign, like something whispering just out of reach. For centuries, exorcists and demonologists have claimed these are signs of something deeper, a dark intelligence that follows patterns, from subtle temptation to full possession. They describe types of demonic activity, each with its own purpose and signature. In this video, we will be breaking down those categories one by one, what they mean and how they appear in real-world cases. Infestation is essentially a haunting, but by the forces of hell. In this stage, demonic entities interact with a physical location, objects, or even an animal. The goal is not full possession, but to create an atmosphere of fear, instability, and spiritual disruption. Exorcists and demonologists describe infestation as the environmental stage of demonic activity. It usually begins subtly and can escalate if ignored. Common reported signs include deep growling sounds of no natural source, foul odors,
sudden emotional heaviness or stress without explanation,
pets reacting to unseen stimuli, and electrical devices turning on or off by themselves. These disturbances are often meant to weaken the people in the home and prepare the ground for more direct forms of oppression. Here is a real-world example of demonic infestation. According to a webpage published by the group 3P Paranormal, they investigated a reported haunting in Wilkesboro, NC on June 26, 2010. The residents reported unexplained shadows, moaning, scratching on the walls, and various noises throughout the house. Doors had opened without any clear cause, and the family claimed to witness full-body apparitions accompanied by foul odors. The two children became too frightened to sleep in their own room, and the man of the house began experiencing frequent disturbing nightmares. The investigation team documented the activity through audio, photo, and video recordings. After reviewing both the evidence and homeowners' experiences, they conclude that the family was dealing with a demonic haunting. Unlike infestation, obsession is said to occur when demonic forces focus on a single individual. Instead of physical disturbances in the home, the attacks are directed inward, manifesting as intrusive, negative thoughts or mental images the person feels unable to push away. Witnesses often describe these thoughts as foreign, as if they don't originate from their own mind. Reports claim that obsessions can vary widely in form, intensity, and duration before they begin dominating the victim's emotional state. It's important to know that symptoms like these can also be caused by mental health conditions, which exorcists acknowledge, and the vast majority of such cases are that. But in real cases, obsession is often considered the stage where the battle shifts from the environment to the mind. Here is a real-world example that some believe reflects demonic obsession. In the 1990s, the Pickman family reported intense paranormal disturbances in the now infamous Sally house. Everything from scratches and physical attacks to unexplained fires. However, one particular aspect of the case stands out. Tony, the father of the family, claimed he began experiencing intrusive thoughts and disturbing mental images. He said he would hear hostile voices urging him to harm his wife, and at times, simply walking past her triggered an overwhelming urge to lash out. Tony also described vivid dreams of cutting her throat. Reports like these are often cited as fitting the classic pattern of obsession, where the pressure is directed inward toward the mind rather than the environment. Oppression is commonly described as a form of demonic activity that targets a person externally rather than taking control of them. In many Christian traditions, it involves persistent psychological or emotional pressure meant to wear down a person's free will. Victims often report intrusive thoughts, unexplained fear, despair, reoccurring nightmares without a clear cause, and even physical discomfort or despair. Here is a real-world example that some exorcists and demonologists interpret as demonic oppression. Exorcist Monsignor Stephen J. Rossetti has spoken about cases in which individuals report unexplained markings appearing on their bodies. These include scratches, often in groups of 3, burn-like symbols such as triangles, inverted crosses, unexplained bruises, and other marks with no clear physical cause. Rossetti frames these incidents not as possession, but as external attacks meant to intimidate, psychologically wear down a victim. This topic needs almost no introduction, since people already know about it thanks to Hollywood. But for a clearer picture, possession is where a demonic entity takes control of a person's body, affecting their movements, speech, and even internal functions. According to exorcists and demonologists, there are several misconceptions that come from movies and pop culture. Here are a few misconceptions. Father Chad Ripperger notes that most people who contact his ministry are actually dealing with other forms of demonic activity or a mental health issue rather than true possession. Many exorcists work closely with psychiatrists to distinguish genuine cases from psychological conditions. Father Carlos Martins also explains that the iconic Hedgerson scene from The Exorcist is completely fictional. Choicing a person's head like that would kill them instantly, and in Catholic teaching, demonic forces are not permitted to take a human life. Here is an allegedly real case of possession from the 1560s. In November of 1565, a French teenager named Nicole Aubry reportedly began speaking in a different voice, refused to eat, and experienced violent convulsions that were so strong it took 12 to 15 men to hold her down. These events, the local priest believes she was possessed. The lead demon supposedly identified himself as the Prince of the Huguenots and Beelzebub. The Bishop of Leon attempted an exorcism, but was unable to free her. Nicole was then transported to Leon, where she stayed at a convent until she was finally said to be successfully exorcised. Subjugation is described as a form of demonic influence in which a person voluntarily submits themselves to a demonic entity and gradually becomes dependent on it. Unlike possession, the individual is not overtaken, but they are believed to have granted permission, either consciously or through repeated engagement. According to exorcists, this is most often associated with occult practices, ritual activity, or what are described as agreements made with demonic forces. In these cases, the person retains control of their body, but their decisions, behavior, spiritual life are said to become increasingly influenced over time. Here is a real historical case involving alleged demonic subjugation. The case of Gottlieben Dittus. Throughout the 1830s and early 1840s, Dittus was reportedly tormented by malevolent entities. Witnesses described her entering trances and seizure-like states and speaking in voices that were not her own. Both Dittus and other witnesses also reported poltergeist activity within her house, as well as apparitions, balls of light, and other unexplained disturbances. One particular aspect of the case aligns with what exorcists and theologians consider subjugation. Dittus claimed to see numerous human-looking apparitions. At times, she reported that several spectral figures watched her while she lay in bed. She also claimed that some of these entities physically harmed her, including placing nails and other objects into her body. Multiple entities were said to speak through Dittus, to the point that witnesses believed it was impossible to track how many were involved. One entity reportedly claimed that there were over 1,000 of them, consisting of individuals who, while alive, had signed pacts with the devil. These claims led the Reverend overseeing the case to believe that Gottlieben was not suffering from sorcery carried out by living people. Instead, he believed he was being tormented by human spirits who had entered pacts with the devil during their lifetimes and continued to operate under demonic influence after death. Those are some different types of demonic activity. One important thing to keep in mind is that classifications and terminology can vary across different religions and belief systems. During my research, I found that evangelical Christians, for example, often define oppression differently. So if you come across sources that describe these concepts in different ways, that's likely why. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share to support my channel.